Good morning. Ready for our training session today?
Definitely. I'm excited to see what you have in store for us.
Well, we're going to focus on agility and coordination drills today. We're going to do some ladder drills and cone exercises to improve your footwork.
Sounds challenging, but I'm up for it.
Great. Let's start with some dynamic stretches to warm up those muscles.
Okay, I'm ready.
Good job. Now let's move on to the agility ladder drills. Remember to stay light on your feet and keep a quick pace.
I'll do my best.
You're doing really well. Now let's move on to the cone exercises. We're going to do some pivot turns and diagonal runs. Focus on your form and keeping your movements controlled.
Got it.
Excellent work. Let's cool down with some static stretches to prevent injury.
Thank you, Coach. That was a great training session.
You're welcome. You did a fantastic job today. I can see your agility and coordination improving already.
I'm glad to hear it. Looking forward to our next session.
Absolutely. Next time, we'll focus on strength training to build up your muscles.
Sounds like a plan.
Thanks for coming out today. Keep up the good work.
Thank you, Coach. I will.
Good afternoon. How can I assist you today?
Hi there. I am seeking your legal advice on a matter concerning my business.
Sure. Can you elaborate more about the issue?
Well, my business partner and I are having a disagreement on the profit distribution.
I see. Have you considered revisiting the terms and conditions of your partnership agreement?
No, we didn't think of that. Can that help us reach a solution?
It's worth a try. Let me take a look at your agreement and see if there are any clauses that can help your situation.
That would be great. Thank you so much.
No problem. Happy to help. May I ask, how long have you been in business together?
It's been around 5 years now.
Congratulations. It's not easy to maintain a partnership for that long. May I suggest considering mediation as an alternative dispute resolution method?
Yes, that sounds like a good idea. Can you recommend a mediator?
Of course. I can give you a list of certified mediators, or I can even act as a mediator if you prefer.
That would be great. Thank you for being so accommodating.
It's my pleasure. I am here to make things easier for you. Is there anything else I can assist you with?
For now, I think that's all. Thank you for your time and expertise.
You're welcome. Don't hesitate to reach out anytime. Have a good day. Hey, have you heard about the new oil field discovery?
No, tell me more about it. Where is it located?
It's located in the Gulf of Mexico. It's estimated to have about 5 billion barrels of oil.
Wow, that's a huge discovery. But aren't there environmental concerns with drilling there?
Yeah, there are. But the technology nowadays is capable of minimizing the impact on the environment.
I see. Have any oil companies expressed interest in developing the site?
Yeah, there have been a few major players in the industry showing interest. But competition is fierce, and there's no guarantee who will get the rights to drill.
I bet it'll be a big payday for whoever manages to snag the drilling rights.
Absolutely. But it's not just about the money. It's about responsible development and balancing our energy needs with environmental protection.
Agreed. It's important to strike a balance between energy and the environment. Have there been any community consultations about the development?
Yes, there have been. The local communities have voiced their concerns, and companies are listening and taking those concerns into consideration in their development plans.
That's great to hear. It's always good to involve the community in the decision-making process.
Absolutely. And hey, maybe one day we'll get to witness a gusher from this new oil field.
Ha! I'll have my hard hat and safety glasses ready for when that day comes.
Hey B, have you heard about the ISO 27001 security incident?
Ooh, sounds serious. What's the scoop?
Apparently, there was a breach in the security system at a company that follows the ISO 27001 standard.
That's not good. Did they lose any important data?
Yeah, they lost some confidential information. But don't worry, it's not like they lost my stash of cat memes.
Laughs, phew, good to know the important stuff is safe.
I wonder if they had a robust incident response plan in place.
Probably not, considering there was a breach. But hey, we can always offer our services as security consultants.
Smiling, I like the way you think. We can swoop in like security superheroes and save the day.
Grinning, yes. And we'll make sure to keep the cat names secure too.
Laughing, absolutely. That's a top priority. Hi, have you tried lamb before?
Yes, I just had it at dinner last night. Why do you ask?
I've never tried it before, and I was thinking about giving it a shot.
Oh, you definitely should. Lamb has a uniquely rich flavor that's hard to describe.
That's what I've heard. Is it similar to beef at all?
Not really. Lamb has a gamey taste that's completely different from beef. It's also more tender in texture.
Interesting. How is it usually prepared?
Well, there are many ways to prepare lamb. Some people like it roasted with garlic and herbs, while others prefer it grilled with a spicy rub.
Both of those sound good. Do you have a preferred way of eating lamb?
Honestly, I think the simpler, the better. I like it with just a little oil, salt, and pepper, so I can really taste the flavor of the meat.
That's a good point. I think I'll try it with minimal seasoning so I can get the full experience.
Great. I think you'll really enjoy it. Lamb is one of my favorite meats.
Thanks for the recommendation. I'm excited to try it.
No problem. Let me know how it goes.
Wow, these steaks look amazing. I'm always so impressed with the quality of the beef here. Speaking of grilling, have you ever had a backyard barbecue with your friends and family? Absolutely. And of course, nothing beats a juicy, delicious steak like this. No, I had no idea. You learn something new every day. Speaking of Norse mythology, have you ever heard of Thor, the god of thunder? That sounds interesting. I'll have to give it a try next time I come here. I like spicy food, but I don't know if I could handle that much heat. Maybe I'll stick with the Thor cocktail for now. I definitely will. Thanks for the excellent service, as always. Hi there, I'm on the hunt for the perfect outfit for a date tonight.
Hi, welcome to our store. We've got plenty of options for you. What kind of look are you going for?
I want something that's comfortable, but still has a touch of elegance. Do you have anything like that?
Absolutely, we have just the thing. Let me show you some of our latest arrivals.
Oh wow, these all look great. Can I try a few on?
Of course, feel free to take your time in the fitting room. Let me know if you need any assistance.
10 minutes later, what do you think of this dress?
It looks amazing on you. The color really complements your complexion.
I agree, and the fabric is so soft and comfortable. I think I'll take this one.
Great choice. We also have some matching accessories that would complete the look. Would you like to see them?
Yes, please.
After showing a few accessories, how about this necklace and bracelet set? They would look perfect with the dress.
Looking at the accessories, they're so pretty. I'll take them both. Thank you for your help.
You're welcome. I hope you have a great time on your date tonight.
Hi there, can you help me confirm some Japan subway routes?
Hi, of course. Which lines are you looking for?
I'm planning a trip to Tokyo, and I'm not familiar with the train system. Can you help me figure out how to get from Shibuya to Shinjuku?
Absolutely. You can take the JR Yamanote line from Shibuya to Shinjuku Station. It's a short ride, less than 10 minutes.
Great, thanks. And what about if I want to go to Asakusa from Shinjuku?
You can take the Tokyo Metro Marunouchi line from Shinjuku to Otemakai Station, then transfer to the Toei Asakusa line to get to Asakusa.
Sounds a bit complicated, but I'll try to remember that. How often do the trains run?
The JR Yamanote line runs every 3 to 5 minutes during peak hours and every 10 to 15 minutes during off-peak hours. The Tokyo Metro Marunouchi line runs every 3 to 4 minutes during peak hours and every 6 to 9 minutes during off-peak hours.
That's very helpful, thanks. Do you have any tips for riding the subway in Japan?
One tip is to avoid the rush hour, which is usually from 7 to 9 a.m. and 5 to 7 p.m. Also, be sure to have your fare ready when you enter the station and keep your belongings close to you at all times.
Got it, thank you. This has been very useful information.
You're welcome. Have a great trip to Tokyo and enjoy the subway ride.
Isn't this bookstore amazing? I'm feeling inspired just being here in Tokyo.
Yes, the variety of books here is incredible. I'm glad we decided to come on this literary adventure.
Have you read any Japanese literature before?
Yes, I've read some works from Haruki Murakami and Yukio Mishima. How about you?
I've read some Murakami too, but I'm hoping to discover some lesser-known authors on this trip.
That's a great idea. I heard that Banana Yoshimoto's works are quite popular here.
Oh, I've never heard of her. Let's look for her books.
Sure, and while we're here, we should also check out the section on haiku poetry.
That's a great suggestion. Have you ever written any haiku?
Yes, I wrote a few during my college years. It's a beautiful form of poetry.
I agree. I'm hoping to find inspiration for my own writing from the local culture and customs.
Definitely. Japan has a rich literary history and it will surely fuel your creativity.
Speaking of which, have you tried any local cuisine yet?
Yes, I had some delicious sushi and miso soup last night. What about you?
I tried some ramen and it was amazing.
Ramen is one of my favorites. Have you tried matcha tea yet?
Not yet, but I've heard a lot about its health benefits.
We should find a good tea shop later and try it together.
Sounds like a plan. I'm really having a great time exploring the literary and cultural aspects of Tokyo.
Me too. I'm excited to see what else we can discover on this trip.
Hey B, how's it going? Ready to tackle some coding challenges today?
Hey, feeling good and ready to go. What's on our to-do list?
We need to optimize the database queries for our latest project. I was thinking of using some new tools I found online.
That sounds interesting. Which tool are we going to use?
Well, I found this pretty cool Visual Studio Code extension that helps with query optimization. It's called SQL Tools.
Nice choice. I love using Visual Studio Code for development. It's so versatile and user-friendly.
Agreed. Plus, the ability to customize the editor through extensions really helps with productivity.
Have you tried the Live Share feature? I find it so helpful when collaborating with team members remotely.
Yes. It's definitely a game changer for remote work. Speaking of which, have you noticed how the work-from-home lifestyle has affected our work culture?
For sure. I think it's brought some new challenges, but also opened up new opportunities for flexibility and collaboration.
Yeah, it's definitely different, but I'm glad we are still able to work on some awesome projects together.
Absolutely. Ready to dig into the code and optimize those queries?
Let's do it. High five for a productive day ahead.
Woo! Let's get coding.
Good morning. You must be the logistics specialist from the freight company. Welcome to our harbor.
Hi. Yes, that would be me. Thank you for having me here. I'm really excited to see how we can work together.
Great to hear that. We are always open to new ideas on how we can improve the transportation of our fish products.
Perfect. We definitely have the right tools and expertise to help. Are there any particular challenges you're facing right now?
Well, we sometimes experience delays in shipments, and we're worried that it may affect the quality of our products.
I see. Have you considered exploring different transport routes or modes of delivery?
That's what we're trying to do. Can you suggest some options for us?
Sure. For example, we can use refrigerated trucks or containers that can maintain the temperature of the products during transit.
That sounds like a good plan. Do you have any other ideas that might help us?
Yes. We can also schedule the pickup and drop-off times to avoid traffic or peak hours. This will ensure that the products arrive at their destination on time and in good condition.
Those are great suggestions. We will definitely look into that. Thank you so much for your help.
My pleasure. We really look forward to working with you and your team, and we are committed to providing you with the best possible logistics solutions.
That's exactly what we need. We appreciate your assistance and expertise, and we're confident that together we can make the transportation of our fish products smoother and more efficient.
I couldn't agree more. Thanks for the warm welcome, and let's get started.
Hey there, B. How's it going?
Not too shabby, hey. Just trying to figure out how to make our user interface more user-friendly for our social media users.
Yeah, it can be a tricky task. Have you thought about adding any new features?
I was considering adding a dark mode option for those who prefer not to be blinded by a bright white background.
That's a great idea. I can definitely help with the coding for that feature.
Awesome, and I was also thinking of making the search function more prominent on the home page to make it easier for users to find what they're looking for.
That's a good point. We could also add a suggested search feature to help users find related content quicker.
Great suggestion. And to make things more fun, I was thinking of incorporating some animated icons and GIFs to add a bit of personality to our design.
I couldn't agree more. Adding some humor and playfulness to our interface can definitely improve the user experience.
Absolutely. And speaking of humor, why not add some funny error messages in case something goes wrong?
Genius. That would definitely make our users smile while we fix any glitches.
I'm glad you like the idea. Oh, and what do you think about adding a progress bar for longer videos so users know how long it will take to finish?
Another fantastic idea, B. It's always frustrating not knowing how much time you have left for a video.
Exactly. And it's the little details like these that can make all the difference for our users.
Agreed. And one last thing, B. How about incorporating a feedback system? That way we can get direct input from our users on how to continue improving our interface.
Brilliant. We can always learn from our users and their experiences. Thanks for your input, A.
Anytime, B. Working together makes our jobs more enjoyable and our interface more user-friendly. Hey there, B. Have you ever tried tandoori dishes?
No, I haven't. What are they?
Tandoori dishes are basically Indian cuisine that's marinated in yogurt and spices, then roasted in a special clay oven called a tandoor.
Wow, that sounds delicious. Where can I try it?
There's this restaurant downtown that serves the best tandoori chicken. It's tender and juicy with a smoky flavor.
I love chicken. What else do they have on their menu?
They also have tandoori fish, which is great for seafood lovers. And they have this naan bread that's fluffy and crispy at the same time.
My mouth is watering just thinking about it. Do they have vegetarian options?
Yes, they do. The tandoori paneer is a popular dish. Paneer is like Indian cheese, and it's absolutely amazing with the spices.
I'm definitely going there next weekend. Thanks for the tip, A.
No problem, B. If you're feeling adventurous, you should try the tandoori lamb too. It's a bit spicy, but oh so good.
Haha, I'll have to work my way up to that. But I'm up for the challenge.
That's the spirit, B. Tandoori food is all about exploring new flavors and having fun with your taste buds.
I can't wait to try it out. Thanks again for recommending the restaurant, A.
Anytime, B. I hope you enjoy your tandoori experience. Hey B, have you reviewed the results of the vulnerability scan that was conducted last week?
Yes, I did. Seems like we've got quite a few critical findings that need to be addressed pronto.
That's not good news. Do you think we need to shut down our system to fix these issues?
Nah, shutting down the system is not necessary. But we do need to prioritize and come up with a plan for the fixes.
I agree. What do you think should be our primary focus?
Well, first off, let's patch those vulnerabilities that are critical and require immediate attention before moving on to the less critical ones.
Great. And once we've finished patching our system, are we done with this mess?
Not entirely. We also need to double-check and make sure all the patches work as intended.
Alright, so once we've patched everything and confirmed everything is working fine, are we really done this time?
Almost there. It's a must to do a follow-up scan just to see if we missed anything.
Got it. Thanks for explaining it to me. Sounds like a lot of work, but we can handle it.
Yes, we will. Fixing vulnerabilities is not an option, it's a necessity. Plus, think of it as a way to exercise our skills and enhance our knowledge.
Haha, exercising our skills, I like that. I can't wait to tell my friends I'm getting a workout while working.
We're not just fixing issues, we're also getting fit. Who knows? One day, we might even start a vulnerability patching gym.
Haha, that's a brilliant idea. We could call it Vulnerabilityville.
And just like that, we found a way to make cybersecurity fun.
Hey, have you ever tried lamingtons?
Lamingtons? What's that?
It's a cake of Australian origin, typically with chocolate and coconut on the outside.
Oh, sounds delicious. Tell me more.
Well, it's named after Lord Lamington, who served as governor of Queensland in the late 1800s.
Interesting. Are they hard to make?
Not really, you just need a sponge cake cut into cubes, then dip them in chocolate and coat them in coconut.
That sounds doable. I think I'll try to make them for my next party.
Good idea. They're great for sharing with friends.
Do they taste different than regular cake?
Yes, the chocolate and coconut give it a unique flavor and texture.
Yum, I can't wait to try them. Have you ever had other Australian desserts?
Yes, there's also pavlova, which is a meringue-based dessert with fruit and cream on top.
Sounds tasty too. I'm going to have to try more Australian cuisine.
Definitely. And if you ever visit Australia, you have to try their meat pies and Vegemite.
Wait, what's Vegemite?
It's a spread made from yeast extract. It's an acquired taste, but many Australians love it.
I'll have to give it a try. Thanks for the recommendations.
No problem. Let me know how your lamingtons turn out.
I will. I might even bring some over for you to try.
That would be awesome. Cheers to trying new desserts. Hi there. I'm a web designer specializing in travel applications. Nice to meet you.
Hey, nice to meet you too. I'm a software developer, and I'm excited to hear your ideas on how to make a user-friendly itinerary planning function.
Great. The key to successful itinerary planning is to make it interactive and easy to use. Users want a visual representation of their trip to understand it better.
I agree completely. But what about optimizing the functionality and speed of the app?
That's also crucial. We need to ensure that the app can handle multiple requests and offer customized options for different travel styles.
The user interface should be intuitive and shouldn't take long to navigate. Quick response times and clear options would make it more user-friendly.
Definitely. It's also important to make it easy to add and remove items from the itinerary.
Yes, and perhaps we can provide options for users to filter activities based on their interests or preferences. Maybe add recommendations from local experts or reliable sources.
Great idea, that would add value and increase engagement too. We should also make sure the app is compatible with different screen sizes and devices.
Absolutely. And as for the visual design, I think we can go for a clean and minimalist approach, with sharp and clear typography for easy readability.
I agree, and it'll also lend itself well to a responsive design. Have you heard of any new technologies we can implement with interesting functionalities?
Funny you mentioned that. I was thinking of incorporating an AI chatbot that could help users with personalized recommendations and answer any questions they might have.
That's a fantastic idea. User engagement will certainly be high with this application. I think we've got some great ideas here. Thanks for collaborating, it's been a pleasure working together.
Likewise, it's been great brainstorming with you. Looking forward to seeing the final result.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to our show. Today, we have a very special guest, B, who is a software engineer. He will be introducing us to the latest front-end development technology. B, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, A. I'm excited to talk about the latest front-end development technology.
So, B, can you tell us more about this exciting new technology?
Sure. The technology I'm referring to is React.js, a popular JavaScript library for building user interfaces.
Interesting. What are the benefits of using React.js?
Well, one of the main benefits of React.js is its ability to help developers create reusable UI components. It also has a large and active community, so there are plenty of resources to help with development.
That's amazing. Is it easy to learn and use?
It can take some time to fully grasp, but there are plenty of online resources available for those who want to learn. Plus, it has a well-documented API, so developers can easily implement it into their projects.
Sounds like it's worth trying out. How will this technology help businesses?
This technology can help businesses create faster and more responsive websites and user interfaces, which can lead to a better user experience and ultimately, more customers.
Wow, that's a great benefit for businesses. Is there anything else you would like to add, B?
Just that I highly recommend React.js for front-end development. It's a reliable and innovative technology that can help businesses stay ahead of the competition.
Thank you so much, B, for sharing this exciting new technology with us. We can't wait to see what the future holds for React.js.
Thank you for having me, A. It was a pleasure to be here.
Good morning. What a beautiful day to shop for fresh ingredients. That's great. Do you have anything in particular that you would like to recommend? Definitely. I love using seasonal produce in my dishes. Oh, I love experimenting with flavors. What do you recommend? Wonderful. I'll take some of each. And also, can I get some fresh seafood? I'm thinking of making a seafood soup tonight. Perfect indeed. Thank you for your help. Speaking of which, have you tried the new restaurant down the street? They have amazing seafood dishes. Anytime. It's always great to share culinary experiences. Thank you. You too. Hi there. I'm excited to see you here at the Marketing Expo. What kind of business do you have?
Hi. I sell handmade accessories like jewelry and hair clips. It's a small business, but it's important to me.
That's great. Have you thought about using social media to promote your products?
I've tried a little bit, but I'm not very experienced with it. Do you have any tips?
Sure, I can definitely help you out. First, it's important to have eye-catching photos. Then, engage with your followers by posting regularly and responding to their comments.
That makes sense. I've seen some influencers doing that. Do you have any suggestions for collaborating with them?
Yes, influencer marketing can be a great way to get your products seen by more people. Look for influencers whose brand aligns with yours and reach out to them with a proposal.
Okay, That sounds like something I can try. How much does it usually cost to work with an influencer?
It depends on their level of influence and reach, but it can range from a few hundred to a few $1,000s. However, there are also some micro-influencers who may charge less.
Thank you for the advice. I'll definitely look more into it. How can I contact you if I have further questions?
You can always email me or connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm happy to help out small businesses like yours.
That's so kind of you. Thank you for your time and expertise. It was nice meeting you.
Likewise, good luck with your business. Don't hesitate to reach out if you need anything. Hey B, have you ever thought about automating our software testing using machine learning?
Yeah, actually I have. But I'm not sure where to start.
Well, we could start by using ML to identify patterns and predict potential bugs.
That's a good point. But how do we train the ML model?
We can use historical data from our software testing to gather insights and create labels for our model.
I see what you mean. But what if the data is biased?
We can perform data cleaning and stratification to ensure unbiased training data.
Okay, I get it now. But how do we integrate ML into our existing testing process?
We can develop an ML-based testing framework and integrate it with our current CI/CD pipeline.
Sounds interesting. But what ML algorithms should we use?
We can start with simple algorithms like linear regression and move on to more complex ones like deep learning.
I've heard that deep learning can take a lot of time to train. Do we have enough computational resources?
That's a valid concern. We can use cloud platforms like AWS and GCP for distributed training.
Makes sense. But what about the cost of using cloud platforms?
We can optimize our ML model and use spot instances to reduce costs.
Great idea. But how do we ensure that our ML model is accurate?
We can use metrics like precision, recall, and F1 score to evaluate our model's performance.
And what if the ML model detects a bug that doesn't actually exist?
We can use human intervention to verify the results and improve the model over time.
All right, sounds like a solid plan. But how long do you think it will take to implement this?
It depends on the complexity of our software and our ML model. But with a dedicated team and resources, we could implement it within a few months.
Cool, I'm up for the challenge. Let's do this.
Hi there. I'm a solo traveler and I'm looking for some local guidance. Can you introduce yourself?
Hi. I'm a volunteer tour guide. My name is Yuki. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, Yuki. Can you tell me a bit about Osaka's culture and customs?
Sure. Osaka is known for its food culture, so you definitely need to try some local dishes while you're here. We also have a tradition of comedy called manzai.
Oh, interesting. Do people perform manzai on the streets or in theaters?
Both, actually. You can see street performers in areas like Dotonbori, but there are also theaters that specialize in comedic performances.
That sounds like a lot of fun. What about traditional festivals or events?
One of Osaka's most famous festivals is the Tenjin Matsuri in July. It's a big celebration with fireworks, music, and a procession on boats.
That sounds amazing. I'll have to try and catch it next time I visit. Speaking of visiting, where do you recommend I go shopping in Osaka?
Definitely check out the Shinsaibashi Shopping Arcade in Namba. It's one of the largest and busiest shopping areas in the city.
Sounds perfect. Thanks for all the tips, Yuki. I'm excited to explore Osaka's culture with your guidance.
No problem at all, happy to help. Let's go grab a bite to eat and talk more about Osaka.
Good morning. Are you ready for another busy day of baking and making drinks?
Yes, I am. It's always a pleasure to see the happy faces of our customers enjoying our delicious offerings.
I completely agree. Today, I plan on making some fresh dumplings and buns. What drinks do you have in mind to pair with them?
Well, how about we mix things up today and make some refreshing iced teas? We can use some jasmine tea, add some honey and lime, and top it off with some fresh mint.
That sounds perfect. I'll start preparing the dough and filling for the dumplings and buns. Do you have a favorite filling you want to use?
I love the combination of pork and chives in my dumplings. How about you?
I usually go for the classic pork and cabbage filling, but I'm open to trying something new. Let's make a batch of both and see which one our customers prefer.
Great idea. We can even ask for their feedback and make adjustments accordingly. Hey, have you heard about the latest food craze in town?
No, what's that?
It's called the cloud egg and it's basically a poached egg on a bed of whipped egg whites. It makes for a beautiful and Instagram-worthy dish.
Wow, I haven't heard of that before. Maybe we should add it to our menu and see if it becomes popular.
Absolutely. It's always good to keep our menu fresh and up to date. Well, I better start brewing some tea. We have a busy day ahead of us.
Yes, we do. Let's get cooking and making delicious drinks for our lovely customers. Hi there, I'm really excited to try out this new Japanese restaurant.
Me too. I've heard their sushi is amazing. What do you usually order when you come to a Japanese restaurant?
I usually go for the teriyaki chicken or beef, but I'm open to trying new things.
Well, I highly recommend the tempura shrimp. It's one of my favorites. And their miso soup is the best I've ever had.
That sounds great, I'll definitely give those a try. So, I've been following your YouTube channel and I noticed you review a lot of tech products. How did you get started in that field?
Actually, I used to work in the tech industry and I decided to start making videos as a hobby. It grew from there and now I'm lucky enough to do it full time.
That's really cool. I'm a blogger myself, but I mostly focus on travel and lifestyle topics.
That sounds fun. How did you get into blogging?
I've always had a passion for writing and storytelling, so it felt like a natural fit. Plus, it allows me to explore new places and share my experiences with others.
I love that about your blog. Your writing really transports me to the places you visit.
Thank you so much, that means a lot coming from someone who creates such engaging videos. Speaking of work, do you ever struggle with maintaining a work-life balance while running your channel?
Definitely, it can be tough to disconnect sometimes. But I try to set boundaries for myself and carve out time for things I enjoy outside of work. How about you? Do you find it difficult to switch off from blogging?
Oh yes, it's definitely a challenge. But I try to remind myself that taking breaks is necessary for creativity and productivity. Plus, it's important to not let work consume your entire life.
Absolutely, balance is key. Speaking of balance, our food just arrived. Let's dig in.
Agreed, cheers to trying new things and balancing work and life. Hi everyone, welcome to our show. Today, we have a very special guest with us, the world-renowned chef, B. Welcome B.
Thank you for having me, it's great to be here.
So, B, tell us about your latest culinary creations.
Well, I've been experimenting with fusion cuisine lately, mixing different cultural flavors to create new and exciting dishes.
That sounds amazing. Do you have any examples?
I've created a Korean-inspired chicken teriyaki and an Indian-spiced lamb burger that have been very popular.
Wow, those sound delicious. Now, let's have some fun. If you could only eat one food for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Oh, that's a tough one. But I think I would have to go with sushi. It's so versatile and always so fresh.
Great choice. And, besides cooking, what other hobbies do you have?
I love playing sports, especially tennis and skiing. They help me stay active and clear my mind.
That's fantastic. And finally, any advice for aspiring chefs out there?
Don't be afraid to try new things and take risks. You never know what amazing creations you might come up with.
Excellent advice, B. Thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your insights with us.
Thank you for having me, it was a pleasure.
Hello, welcome to my car. Where are you headed today?
Hey, I'm going to the Victoria Market. It's my first time there. Have you been there before?
Yes, I have. It's a great place to shop for fresh produce and souvenirs. Have you tasted their donuts? They're amazing.
Oh, really? I definitely want to taste them. Do you have a favorite vendor you recommend?
Yes, I usually go to the American Donut Kitchen. They have really good jam-filled ones. What's the occasion for your visit?
Nothing special, really. It's just that everyone always talks about the Victoria Market, so I wanted to check it out for myself.
I see. Well, I hope you have a great time. Melbourne has a lot of amazing things to offer.
I know, I've been discovering that more and more each day. How long have you lived here?
I've been living here for almost 10 years now. It's a great city, and I love driving around exploring different neighborhoods.
That's really cool. I've only been here for a few days, but I can already see why people say Melbourne is one of the best cities in the world.
Absolutely. It's got great food, beautiful architecture, and a really interesting culture. Have you gone to any museums or galleries yet?
Yeah, I went to the National Gallery of Victoria yesterday. It was amazing. I loved seeing all the art and the beautiful architecture inside the building.
That's great. I'm glad you're enjoying your time here. Don't forget to visit the beaches too. St. Kilda Beach is my personal favorite.
Thanks for the tip. I'll definitely check it out if I have time. Is it far from here?
Not too far. It's about a 15-minute drive from the city. You can also take the tram there if you prefer.
Awesome. Thanks for being such a helpful driver and guide.
No problem at all. It's my pleasure to share the best of Melbourne with visitors like you. Enjoy the market. Hi there, I've been looking for a cozy sweater for fall. Do you have any recommendations?
Absolutely. Have you seen our latest collection from the Taipei Fashion Exhibition? There's a really stylish sweater that just arrived that I think you might like.
Oh, I haven't seen it yet. Can you describe it for me?
Sure. It's a soft knit sweater in a beautiful blush pink color. It's got a relaxed fit and a bit of a drapey look, but still has a flattering cut. And the best part is the details. There are these cute little buttons on the cuffs that add a touch of charm.
That sounds lovely. What kind of fabric is it made of?
It's a wool blend, so it's super soft and warm without being too heavy. And it's definitely high quality. You'll be able to wear it for years to come.
I'm not sure about the pink though. Do you have any other colors?
Sure thing. We also have it in a classic cream color and a gorgeous deep blue. But trust me, the pink is really popular right now.
You know, I think I'll go for the pink after all. It sounds really feminine and pretty. Can I try it on?
Of course. I think it will look great on you. Let me grab one in your size.
Wow, it feels even cozier than it looks. And the buttons on the cuffs are so cute. I love it.
I'm so glad you like it. It's definitely one of my favorite pieces from the exhibition.
Thanks for your help. I'm definitely going to get it.
It's my pleasure. I can't wait to see you rocking it this fall.
Good morning, B. It's a beautiful day to transport some livestock, don't you think?
Yes, it sure is. I'm ready to hit the road. So, what's the plan for today?
We've got a shipment of cattle that needs to be transported to the city. We need to ensure that they have enough food, water, and ventilation during the journey.
No problem, I've got just the right truck for that. By the way, have you heard about the new cow that joined our farm recently?
No, what's special about her?
She's been avoiding the other cows and hanging out with a group of sheep instead. Seems like she's having an identity crisis.
Haha, that's an interesting cow. I hope she figures out her place in the farm soon.
Speaking of cows, have you tried the new milkshakes they're making in the local milk bar? They're delicious.
No, I haven't had a chance to try them yet. Maybe we can stop by on our way back and grab a few.
Sounds like a plan. By the way, have you seen the sheepdog running around lately?
Yes, I have. She's been busy rounding up the sheep and keeping them in line.
That dog is a real lifesaver. I don't know what we'd do without her.
Agreed. She's become an indispensable part of the farm. Speaking of which, how's the market been lately?
Pretty good, actually. People are really interested in buying local, organic produce these days.
That's great news. It's always good to see people appreciating the hard work that goes into farming.
Absolutely. It's not easy work, but it's definitely rewarding.
Well, we better get going. Those cows won't transport themselves.
Right you are. Let's hit the road and get those cows to their destination.
Hey B, what's up?
Hey, I'm just brainstorming some ideas to prevent DDoS attacks. It seems to be a hot topic lately.
Definitely. It's important to stay ahead of the game. What ideas do you have?
Well, I think we should focus on identifying potential vulnerabilities in our network and then implementing proper security measures.
That sounds like a good plan. We should also consider setting up a firewall to filter out any suspicious traffic.
Agreed. And perhaps we can also invest in some anti-DDoS software that can automatically detect and mitigate attacks.
Brilliant. But what if the attack is too overwhelming for our defenses?
In that case, we can always leverage cloud-based services that can handle large-scale DDoS attacks. It might cost a bit more, but it's worth the investment.
I see your point. But what about the aftermath of an attack? What can we do to prevent it from happening again?
We can conduct a post-mortem analysis to determine the root cause of the attack and take steps to fix any weaknesses in our network. Additionally, we can educate our employees and customers on how to detect and prevent such attacks.
Makes sense. It's always better to be proactive than reactive. Any other ideas?
We can also work with our ISP to filter out any incoming attack traffic and consider adding more bandwidth to our network to better handle sudden surges.
Excellent. It seems like we've got a solid plan in place. Let's get to work. Thanks for your input, B.
Anytime, hey. We make a great team.
Hey, have you tried tonkatsu before?
Yes, I love tonkatsu. It's one of my favorite Japanese dishes.
Wow. You must really enjoy fried food then.
Yeah, but tonkatsu has a special place in my heart. What about you? Have you tried it?
Actually, I haven't. What's so special about it?
It's a breaded pork cutlet that's deep fried until crispy. Trust me, the perfect tonkatsu is crispy on the outside but tender on the inside.
Sounds delicious. Where can I find good tonkatsu?
You can try going to a Japanese restaurant or even make it yourself at home. It's not that difficult, just make sure the oil is hot enough when you fry it.
Okay, noted. Any tips or sauces to go with it?
Tonkatsu is usually served with a special tonkatsu sauce, which is a thick and sweet sauce made with fruit, vegetables, and soy sauce. It complements the flavor of the pork perfectly.
Wow, that sounds interesting. I'll definitely have to try it now.
You won't regret it. And if you're feeling adventurous, you can try katsu curry, which is basically curry sauce served over a tonkatsu cutlet.
That sounds amazing. I'm already getting hungry just thinking about it.
Haha, let's go grab some tonkatsu together then.
Hello there, it's great to see you volunteering to help out in our school. Yes, I am. I teach the children the importance of agriculture and how it contributes to our economy. I usually start by explaining to them what agriculture is and how it benefits us. Then, we explore different types of crops and livestock that we grow in our village. Surprisingly well. They enjoy learning about the different types of seeds and the appropriate seasons for planting. They also love when we have some hands-on experience and allow them to help tend to the gardens. Yes, we have thought about it, but we haven't had the resources to make it happen yet. Maybe with the help of some volunteers like you, we can expand the program. That's a great idea. It would be a great opportunity for the children and parents to see how the farm works and how they can apply the same methods in their own gardens. I couldn't agree more. I'm looking forward to the future of this program. Hi there. Have you ever thought about getting an information certification?
Not really. Why do you ask?
Well, I've been considering it lately. I've heard that it's a great way to improve your skills and stand out in the job market.
That sounds intriguing. What are some of the benefits of getting certified?
For starters, it shows that you're knowledgeable and dedicated to your field. Plus, it can help you qualify for higher-paying jobs and promotions.
I see. But is it really worth the time and money to get certified?
I think so. Think of it as an investment in your future. Plus, many employers now require certifications for certain positions.
Okay, I'm convinced. Where do you suggest I start?
Well, there are plenty of online resources to help you choose the right certification for your career path. And there are even study groups and courses you can take to prepare for the exam.
That's great to know. One more question though, will the certification expire or is it lifelong?
It depends on the certification. Some require recertification every few years, while others are considered lifetime certifications.
Got it. Thanks for all the info. I definitely have some research to do now.
No problem. Let me know if you need any help. I'm happy to lend a hand.
Thanks, I appreciate it. I'll keep you posted on my progress.
Sounds good. Best of luck to you. Hey, have you tried out the new VS Code update?
No, not yet. What's new in it?
They've added some new debugging features that make it easier to catch errors in our code.
Oh, that sounds great. I always appreciate when there are better debugging tools available.
Yeah, me too. It saves so much time in the long run. I also love how customizable VS Code is. There are so many plugins and themes you can use.
I agree. I've been using the Material Theme plugin lately and it's been a game changer for me.
Oh, I've heard good things about that one. I might have to switch over to it too.
Definitely give it a try. So, how's your project coming along?
It's going pretty well. I just fixed a bug that was causing some issues with our database.
Nice job. You're always a great problem solver. Want to grab some lunch later to celebrate?
Sure, that sounds like a great idea. Where should we go?
There's this new sushi place I've been meaning to try out. How about we go there?
Perfect. I love sushi. Hi there. You must be the NLP engineer. I'm the ML engineer in charge of speech recognition for the chatbot.
Hi, nice to meet you. I'm working on designing the natural language processing capabilities for the chatbot.
Great. So what do we need to consider when making a chatbot that can recognize speech and process natural language?
Well, first we need to consider the languages the chatbot will support. Then we can train it on large datasets so it can learn those languages.
Right, and we'll need to integrate it with the speech recognition software for a seamless user experience.
Yes, and we'll also have to consider the accuracy of the chatbot's responses. It needs to understand and interpret the user's message correctly.
Absolutely. And how about the backend infrastructure? We'll need a robust system to handle all the requests coming in.
Yes, and we'll also have to think about how to handle exceptions and errors gracefully. And don't forget about user privacy and security.
Good point. We'll have to implement encryption to protect sensitive user data. This is a pretty complex project, but I'm sure we can get it done.
Agreed. And let's not forget to give it a personality too. We want this chatbot to be engaging and fun to talk to.
Yes, let's make sure it's more than just a robot spitting out automated responses. It needs to be human-like and capable of holding a conversation.
Exactly. We're creating a virtual assistant after all. We want it to be helpful, informative, and memorable.
Sounds like we have our work cut out for us, but I'm excited to get started.
Me too. It'll be interesting to see how our chatbot turns out.
Hi there. I'm a foodie, and I'm really excited to try out your French cuisine.
Welcome. We have some delicious French dishes on our menu. Have you tried French food before?
Yes, I have tried croissant and baguette, but I'm looking to try something new. What do you recommend?
If you're feeling adventurous, our escargot is a popular choice. It's cooked with garlic and butter and served with bread for dipping.
Wow, that sounds interesting. I think I'll give it a try. What else do you recommend?
Our croque monsieur is a classic French sandwich made with ham, cheese, and bechamel sauce. It's a favorite amongst our customers.
Yum, that sounds perfect for lunch. Is there anything else I should try?
Foie gras is another popular French dish. It's made from the liver of a duck or goose and served with toast.
I've always wanted to try foie gras. I think I'll have to order that as well.
Great choice. Our foie gras is cooked to perfection and is always a hit with customers.
This all sounds amazing. I can't wait to try everything. Do you have any recommendations for drinks to pair with our meal?
We have a great selection of French wines that pair well with our dishes. Our waitstaff can help recommend a wine that complements your meal.
Perfect. Thank you for your recommendations. I'm excited to have a taste of France right here in this restaurant.
You're welcome. Bon appetit.
Hey there, B. I'm excited to discuss the design for our new fitness app.
Glad to hear that, eh? So, what features are we looking to include in the app?
We want to make sure it's user-friendly and interactive, with options for customized workout plans, progress tracking, and nutritional guidance.
Sounds like a solid plan. How about the layout and color scheme?
I was thinking of using bright colors for the interface to make it energetic and motivating. What do you think?
I agree. It should be vibrant and appealing to the target audience. We can also use icons and images to make it more engaging.
Great idea. Speaking of icons, we should have ones for different exercises, so users can easily navigate and find what they're looking for.
Definitely. And for the workout plans, we could use illustrations to demonstrate proper form and technique.
That's a good call, especially for users who may be new to exercising. How about the home screen? What do you think should be on it?
We can have a welcome message, daily inspiration, or motivational quotes, as well as shortcuts to the user's personalized workout and nutrition plans.
Nice. And for the progress tracking, we can have graphs and charts to visually represent the progress made over time.
Yes, and we can also have badges or achievements to further motivate users and help them celebrate their progress.
Excellent. Let's also make sure the app is easily navigable, with clear instructions and prompts throughout.
Agreed, and we can include a FAQ section in case users encounter any issues or have questions.
Perfect. I think we have a solid plan that will provide a great user experience. Thanks, B.
My pleasure, A. Let's make this app amazing.
Hi there. Can I get you anything to drink to start off your meal?
Actually, I think I'd like to try one of your specialty cocktails. What do you recommend?
If you're feeling adventurous, I'd suggest our jalapeno margarita. It's got a spicy kick to it.
Sounds interesting. While you're making that, could you tell me what's in your most popular dumpling dish?
Of course. Our most popular dumplings are the pork and chive. They're a classic and always a crowd pleaser.
Can't go wrong with a classic. How about something a little more unique? Do you have any special flavors?
Definitely. We've got some interesting options like shrimp and black truffle, bacon and egg, and even a sweet red bean and mochi dumpling.
Wow, those all sound amazing. I'll have to try them all. How did you come up with such creative flavors?
It's all about experimenting and playing around with different ingredients. Sometimes it's a hit, sometimes it's a miss, but it's all part of the fun.
That's so cool. It's like being a scientist, but with food instead. Speaking of science, do you have any cool molecular cocktails?
We do have a few. Our most popular one is the nitrogen martini, which is served with a puff of liquid nitrogen.
That's wild. Can I please have one of those too?
Of course, coming right up. So, where are you from?
I'm from England, actually. How about you?
I'm from Shanghai. I grew up helping my grandmother make dumplings, which is how I fell in love with cooking.
That's amazing. Family recipes are always the best. My grandmother used to make the best Yorkshire pudding.
I've heard of that, but I've never tried it. What's it like?
It's a savory baked dish made with flour, eggs, and milk. It's a staple in English cuisine and goes great with a Sunday roast.
That sounds delicious. I'll have to try it if I ever make it to England.
Definitely. And if you do, I'll make sure to take you to a pub for a proper pint.
Sounds like a plan. Cheers to that. Wow, this food market in Barcelona is amazing. I can't wait to try all these local delicacies.
Yes, it's a feast for both the taste buds and the eyes. Speaking of eyes, let me take some photos of these colorful paella dishes.
That sounds great. I'll try some of the grilled seafood while you snap away.
Sure thing. I'm also amazed at how fresh the produce looks. The tomatoes and peppers are so vibrant.
Oh, and don't forget to try the churros for dessert. They're a must-have in Spain.
I've never tried them before, but they look delicious. Let me capture their sugary goodness on camera.
Speaking of sweetness, have you tried the local wine here? It's supposed to be fantastic.
Not yet, but let's find a wine stall and try some. And while we're at it, I can capture some pictures of the wine bottles and glasses.
That's a great idea. We should also try some of the cured ham and cheese that's so popular here.
Absolutely. I'll take some close-up shots of those too. This day is turning out to be an excellent culinary and photography adventure.
I'm so glad we came to this food market. It's not just about the food, but the experience of eating and photographing it in this vibrant setting.
I completely agree. It just goes to show how food and photography can bring people and cultures together.
Well said. Let's finish up our food and wine tastings and see what other gastronomic surprises await us here in Barcelona. Dad, I have a headache.
Oh no. Have you taken any medicine?
Yeah, but it still hurts.
Have you been doing a lot of schoolwork lately?
Yeah, I have so much homework to do every day.
That could be the reason for your headache. Too much schoolwork can cause stress and fatigue, which can lead to headaches.
But I can't just stop doing my homework.
I understand, but you can take breaks in between and make sure you're not overworking yourself.
Okay, I'll try that. Should I also eat healthier or exercise more?
Yes, that can definitely help too. A balanced diet and exercise can improve your overall health and reduce the risk of headaches.
Thanks for the advice, Dad.
No problem. Take care of yourself and let me know if your headache persists.
Hello. I'm excited to be attending this classical music concert tonight.
Hi there. Glad to hear it. What piece are you most looking forward to hearing tonight?
Actually, I'm not very familiar with classical music. I just came because my friend insisted, but I'm sure I'm going to love it.
That's great. Classical music can be quite an experience, especially for first-timers. I think you'll find it quite exciting.
I hope so. I just hope I don't fall asleep.
Well, if you feel your eyes starting to droop, just let the music carry you away.
Laughs, will do. So, what instrument do you play?
I'm a violinist. I'll be performing later tonight.
Wow, that's amazing. I can't wait to see you play.
Thank you. Playing the violin is definitely my passion. How about you? Do you play any instruments?
No, unfortunately not. I tried to learn how to play the guitar once, but I was terrible at it.
Don't worry about it. Not everyone is meant to be a musician. Just enjoy the music and let it speak to your soul.
I definitely will. After the concert, that was incredible. You were incredible.
Thank you so much. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
I never knew classical music could be so beautiful and powerful.
It's always amazing to see people discover the beauty of classical music. It's truly timeless.
I have to admit, I was a bit apprehensive coming here tonight, but now I understand why my friend was so adamant about me coming.
Laughs, friends always know best, don't they? I hope you'll come to more concerts in the future.
I definitely will. Thank you for an unforgettable experience.
No problem at all. It was my pleasure.
Good morning, officer. What seems to be the problem?
Good morning, sir. You just passed a stop sign without stopping. Do you know what that sign means?
Yes, officer. It means I have to stop my car completely, right?
That's right, sir. It's for the safety of everyone on the road. Can you tell me why you didn't stop?
Oh, I'm sorry, officer. I missed that sign. I was looking at my GPS.
Please remember to keep your eyes on the road and follow the signs. That includes the stop sign ahead.
I will, officer. Thank you for reminding me.
You're welcome, sir. Have you noticed any other road signs along the way?
Yes, I did. There was a sign for a roundabout a few blocks ago. Also, there's a pedestrian crossing sign up ahead.
Very good, sir. Always keep an eye out for road signs, especially stop signs. Follow the rules of the road for everyone's safety.
I completely agree, officer. Safety should be everyone's top priority on the road.
That's right, sir. Now, please make sure you come to a complete stop at the next stop sign.
Will do, officer. Thanks for your help.
No problem, sir. Drive safely and have a good day.
Hello. Thank you for considering me for the receptionist position. I'm excited to be here and would love to learn more about what the job entails.
Hi. It's great to have you here. Can you tell me a bit about your experience working in a customer-facing role?
Sure. I have previous experience working as a retail salesperson, and I've always enjoyed interacting with customers and making sure their needs are met. I'm always ready with a friendly smile and a willingness to help.
That's great to hear. What about handling phone calls and reservations? Do you have any experience with that?
Yes, I've worked as a receptionist before and have experience answering phones and booking appointments. I'm confident in my ability to handle those tasks professionally.
Perfect. Attention to detail is also important in this role. How would you rate your organizational skills?
I consider myself to be quite organized. In my previous positions, I always made sure to keep everything neat and tidy, both in my workspace and in my work files.
Excellent. Finally, do you have any experience using hotel management software?
I haven't used specific hotel management software before, but I'm a quick learner with technology, and I'm confident I would be able to adapt quickly.
Great, thank you for answering my questions. We will be in touch soon about the next steps in the hiring process.
Thank you for your time. It was great to meet with you, and I'm eager to hear back from you. Have a great day.
You too.
Hi there, B. Such a beautiful day for a walk in the park, isn't it?
Absolutely, hey. It's a perfect time to discuss how we can improve the quality of life for residents in the community.
Yes, definitely. One idea that comes to mind is organizing community events like a weekend farmers market, art fairs, and concerts in the park. What do you think?
That's a great idea, hey. It will not only attract more visitors but will also give residents an opportunity to showcase their talents and support local businesses.
Right. And we can even involve the youth in the community, like organizing sports tournaments or art workshops. They can learn new skills while having fun.
That's a fantastic suggestion, hey. Engaging the youth is very important for community development.
Another possible avenue is supporting local small businesses to stimulate the local economy. We can organize workshops and mentoring programs for entrepreneurs to refine their business plans.
That's definitely worth considering. It could help the residents create more job opportunities while also adding value to the community itself.
Absolutely, B. We also need to identify what other issues the community is facing, like access to healthcare facilities or schools, and provide the kind of support that's necessary.
Yes, hey. Providing proper healthcare and education facilities to the community is an essential part of the community's well-being.
Agreed. We will work together closely to help the community thrive and grow holistically.
That's the spirit, hey. Let's get to work, shall we?
Sure thing, B. We have a lot to do, but I'm excited to see the positive impact our efforts will bring to the community.
That's right, hey. Let's do our best to make the community a better place.
Hi there. You look like a musician. What kind of music do you play?
Yes, I am a musician. I play the bass guitar in a band. How about you? You seem to be a dancer.
Yes, that's right. I'm a dancer. I specialize in contemporary dance.
That's great. I've always wondered how music and dance could be fused together. Do you have any ideas?
Well, I think it's all about timing and coordination. If the music and dance are synchronized, it can create a powerful impact.
That's true. But sometimes, a dance performance doesn't really need music. It can be just as powerful on its own, don't you think?
Absolutely. But when dance and music complement each other, it's a beautiful thing. It enhances the emotion and brings the human experience to life.
You're right. In some performances, the music creates a backdrop for the dance, while in others, the music dictates the movements. What's your preference?
I prefer when the music is a complement to the dance. It's like they are breathing together, and it's like a conversation between two people.
I agree. When both are working together, they can tell a story that words cannot express.
Exactly. Do you have any suggestions on what kind of music might work well with contemporary dance?
How about jazz or hip-hop? They can be quite upbeat and really versatile.
That's a good idea. I think I'll try that out in my next performance. Thanks for the suggestion.
No problem. Maybe you could show me your dance moves one day, and I could play some music for you.
Sounds like a great plan. Let's make it happen. Good morning, how can I assist you today?
Hi there, we're a travel agency and we have a group of tourists arriving soon. Could you walk me through the immigration process?
Sure, first, they'll need to fill out an arrival card and provide their passport.
Got it. And what about the customs declaration form?
They'll need to complete that after they collect their luggage. Anything to declare?
Well, we do have a few souvenirs for our clients. Do we need to pay any duty fees?
Yes, any items over the duty-free limit will require payment. I can show you the rates if you'd like.
That would be helpful. And what about the security check?
They'll need to go through the metal detectors and have their bags scanned. Please remind your clients to remove any electronics and liquids.
Will do. Thanks for your help.
No problem, let me know if you have any other questions. Enjoy your day. Hey, have you watched any good movies lately?
Yeah, I saw this really fascinating film called Parasite. Have you watched it?
No, I haven't. What's it about?
It's a South Korean movie about a lower-class family who scams their way into working for a wealthy family. The movie explores themes of social class and inequality.
Wow, that sounds really interesting. What did you think about it?
I thought it was amazing. The storytelling was very original and engaging, and the acting was top-notch.
I've heard a lot of good things about it. Maybe I'll give it a watch this weekend.
Definitely do. I think you'll enjoy it. What other movies have you watched recently?
I just watched the new Joker movie. It was intense.
Oh, I've been wanting to see that. What did you think?
It was really well done. Joaquin Phoenix's performance was incredible. I felt like I was on the edge of my seat the whole time.
I've heard it's quite dark. Did you find it disturbing?
Yeah, it definitely had some disturbing moments, but overall, I thought it was a powerful commentary on society and mental illness.
Sounds like a movie that really makes you think. I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, it's definitely worth a watch. Have you seen any other movies that you would recommend?
Yeah, I recently watched Knives Out. It's a whodunit mystery film with a star-studded cast. Daniel Craig is hilarious in it.
I've heard about that one too. I'm a fan of murder mysteries. How was the plot?
Without giving too much away, the plot was very clever and kept me guessing until the end. It was definitely one of the best movies I've seen recently.
Awesome, I'll have to add it to my watch list. Thanks for the recommendation.
No problem. Let me know what you think after you watch it.
Hello, I'm excited to be interviewing for the hotel operator role today.
Hi there, it's great to meet you. Can you tell me about your experience in the hospitality industry?
Sure, I've worked in a few different hotels over the past few years, handling everything from check-ins to room service to maintenance requests.
That sounds fantastic. And do you have any experience with managing a team or overseeing operations?
Yes, I've been in supervisory roles in the past, and I understand the importance of strong communication and delegation when it comes to running a smooth operation.
Excellent. We're also looking for someone who is skilled in problem solving and can handle unexpected situations with tact and efficiency. Can you give me an example of a time you faced a difficult situation and how you resolved it?
Absolutely. One time, a guest's room wasn't ready at their expected check-in time due to a miscommunication. I immediately apologized and offered them a complimentary drink while we worked to resolve the issue. I communicated with housekeeping and maintenance until the room was ready, and the guest was ultimately satisfied with their stay.
It sounds like you have all the right skills and experience for this role. Do you have any questions for me?
Yes, I was wondering, what kind of training and support do you offer to new employees, especially those in roles that involve a lot of guest interaction?
That's a great question. We have a comprehensive training program that covers everything from our policies and procedures to customer service techniques. Additionally, we have a mentorship program and ongoing performance reviews to ensure that employees feel supported and have opportunities to grow within the company.
That's fantastic to hear. I'm excited about the possibility of joining such a well-established and supportive team.
It was a pleasure speaking with you, and we'll be in touch soon regarding the next steps in the hiring process.
Thank you very much for your time and consideration. I look forward to hearing from you. Wow, this view is breathtaking. I'm glad I brought my camera with me.
Yes, Hiroshima is known for its scenic beauty. Do you need any help taking photos?
Actually, that would be great. I'm not too familiar with the area.
No problem. This bridge we're standing on is called Togetsukyo. It's over 400 years old and is made entirely of wood.
That's amazing. Is it still safe to walk on?
Of course, it's been well maintained over the years. In fact, it's a popular spot for tourists to take photos.
I can see why. The view of the forest and river from here is just stunning.
The forest is actually a bamboo grove. Kyoto has been known for its bamboo culture for centuries.
I had no idea. Do you have any other interesting facts about this area?
Sure. Did you know that the Togetsukyo Bridge has been featured in several Japanese films and dramas?
That's really cool. I'm definitely going to have to come back here to watch them now.
You should also visit the nearby temples such as Tenryuji and Daikakuji. They offer unique insight into Kyoto's rich history and culture.
Sounds like a plan. I can't wait to learn more about this beautiful city. Thanks for all your help, B.
No problem, hey. It's always a pleasure to share my love for Kyoto with others.
Hey B, did you hear about that police officer who's always on patrol duty with his partner?
No, what about him?
Apparently, they're like dynamic duo in the streets, keeping everything in order. I heard they even stop to play basketball with the kids sometimes.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. They really go above and beyond their duties to maintain public safety.
It's impressive how they can switch from being serious and strict to friendly and approachable.
Yeah, that's what makes them great cops. They know how to balance authority with kindness and respect.
Have you ever seen them in action?
Actually, I have. I once saw them helping an old lady cross the street and carrying her groceries.
That's so heartwarming. It's nice to see that our police force is not just about enforcing the law, but also being compassionate and helpful.
Absolutely. They're true role models for aspiring police officers.
I couldn't agree more. I think we should learn from them and strive to make a positive impact in our community.
Yes, let's do our part in promoting safety and harmony. Who knows, maybe one day we'll be the ones patrolling the streets.
Haha, who knows indeed. But for now, let's just admire and appreciate the great work of our colleagues. Hey there. Are you enjoying your time in Tasmania?
Absolutely. I never realized how beautiful the forests are here.
Yes, the flora and fauna are definitely something to behold. Are you into photography by any chance?
Yes, actually. That's one of the reasons I came here. I love capturing nature on camera.
Well, you're in the right place then. Do you want any tips?
That would be great. I'm still learning and any guidance would help.
Alright, first things first. You want to make sure your settings are set properly. I suggest using a lower aperture and higher shutter speed for clear shots.
Got it. What else can I do?
Try to use the natural lighting to your advantage. The forests here provide some amazing lighting, especially during sunrise and sunset.
That's a great idea. I'll make sure to get up early and catch that sunrise.
Lastly, don't forget to take your time and enjoy the beauty around you. It's not just about capturing the moment, it's about experiencing it too.
Thank you so much for these tips. I can't wait to put them into practice and see the results.
No problem at all. It's always great to help a fellow photographer. Who knows, maybe we'll run into each other again on another nature shoot.
That would be amazing. I'm sure Tasmania has so much more to offer in terms of photography opportunities.
I couldn't agree more. Happy shooting. Hello, I'm a vegetarian and I've heard this place serves great vegetarian dishes.
Yes, we have a variety of vegetarian options on our menu. Have you tried our vegetable tempura?
No, but it sounds delicious. I'd love to give it a try.
Great. And we also have vegetarian sushi rolls, vegetable stir-fry, and a vegetable curry that's to die for.
The vegetable curry does sound tempting. Can you please suggest something to drink with it?
I would recommend trying our homemade ginger ale or a fresh pineapple juice. They both pair well with the flavors of the curry.
That sounds refreshing. I'll go for the ginger ale, please.
Excellent choice. And for dessert, would you like to try our vegan chocolate cake or our banana bread pudding?
Both sound amazing, but I think I'll go with the vegan chocolate cake.
You won't regret it. Our chef uses a special recipe that even non-vegetarians love.
I can't wait to taste it. By the way, do you have any vegetarian recommendations for someone who wants to explore the city's food scene?
Definitely try the vegetarian hot pot at the local hot pot restaurant. It's one of the best in the city.
Thank you for the suggestion. I'll definitely check it out.
It was my pleasure. Is there anything else I can help you with?
No, everything was perfect. Thank you for the delicious meal and great service.
You're welcome. It was a pleasure having you here. Have a great day.
Hey there, Director B. Are you ready for another exhilarating day of filming?
Absolutely, hey. The sun is shining, the cameras are rolling, and I'm feeling full of creative energy.
That's the spirit. I think our scene today is going to be a real crowd pleaser.
Agreed. You're looking great in your costume, by the way. Really getting into character.
Thank you. I've been practicing my accent and mannerisms to really bring this character to life.
Well, it's paying off. You're really nailing it. Let's do a rehearsal and see what we've got.
Sounds good to me. I've been studying my lines all night, so hopefully they'll come off naturally.
Don't worry, we'll work through it. Acting is all about trial and error and finding what feels authentic.
That's true. I'm excited to see how the scene unfolds. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Absolutely. And remember, if we need to make any changes, that's what reshoots are for.
Haha, good point. I have a feeling that won't be necessary though. We make a great team.
I couldn't agree more. Now let's go make some movie magic.
Action. Hello, I'm from West Point and I'm here to check the dessert plates and decoration design.
Great, thank you for coming. Can I offer you some refreshing drinks while we inspect?
That sounds lovely. I'm a bit parched from traveling. Do you have any suggestions?
Our house specialty is a passion fruit soda. It's tangy and sweet, perfect for a hot day like today.
That sounds perfect. I'm excited to see what you have in store for us today.
Well, we've been experimenting with some new desserts recently. I think you'll like them.
I hope so. The presentation is just as important as the taste. We want to make sure the customers are wowed by both.
Absolutely. We've been trying to incorporate some local flavors with our desserts. Have you tried any?
I've had some mango and pineapple, but I'm always open to trying something new.
Well, how about our taro buns? They're a pastry filled with taro paste and baked until golden brown.
I've never had taro before. But I'm willing to give it a try.
Great. Here they are. What do you think of the design?
They look amazing. I love the intricate floral patterns on the plate. It really complements the purple and gold of the buns.
Thank you. We put a lot of effort into the design. And of course, the taste is just as important. So, what do you think?
Takes a bite. Wow, this is really good. The taro paste is creamy and not too sweet. And the bun itself is warm and flaky.
I'm glad you like it. We've been trying to create a balance of flavors and textures in all our desserts.
Well, you've succeeded. I'm thoroughly impressed.
Thank you. It means a lot coming from someone with such high standards. Would you like to try anything else?
Sure, what else do you recommend?
How about our matcha cheesecake? It's made with local tea leaves and has a light, creamy texture.
That sounds perfect. I'm a big fan of matcha.
Excellent, here you go. And what do you think of the presentation?
Another beautiful plate. I love the green and white color scheme and the delicate chocolate accents.
Thank you. We wanted to create a serene, elegant atmosphere. But of course, the flavor is just as important.
Takes a bite. This is delicious too. The matcha flavor is subtle but definitely there, and the texture is so silky.
I'm glad you like it. It's one of our more popular desserts.
I can see why. This is definitely one of the best desserts I've ever had.
Wow, I'm honored to hear that. Thank you so much for coming to inspect our dishes.
No problem, it was my pleasure. And thank you for the wonderful treats and hospitality.
Anytime, let us know if you ever have any more feedback or suggestions.
Hey B, have you thought about the design for our new project yet?
Hi A. Yes, I have already started sketching out some ideas for our product interface.
That's great to hear. Can you tell me more about your approach to the design?
Sure. I am thinking of using a minimalistic approach with a pop of vibrant colors to make it visually appealing.
Sounds intriguing. Are there any specific colors you have in mind?
I was thinking of using bright orange and navy blue.
Interesting choice. I think those colors will definitely make our product stand out. What else do you have planned for the design?
I would also like to incorporate some unique icons and fonts to give our product a distinct personality.
I totally agree, having a unique identity is crucial in the design world. How will the interface be structured?
I am planning on arranging the design with a user-friendly flow to ensure that it is easy to navigate.
That's definitely important. What do you think about incorporating some animations or interactivity into the design?
I think that is a great idea. We can design some fun animations that enhance the user experience and make it more engaging.
I agree, that could definitely add a level of excitement to the product. Should we consider doing some user testing to see how our design is received?
Absolutely. It's always important to get feedback from potential users to ensure that we are designing something they will enjoy using.
That's a great point. Do you think we should consider any specific user scenarios in our design?
Yes, we could map out some specific user journeys to make sure our design is optimized for their needs.
Perfect. We are definitely on the right track. Let's keep working collaboratively to make our design the best it can be.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more. I am excited to keep pushing this project forward with you.
Good afternoon, welcome to our restaurant. Have you decided what you would like to order?
Good afternoon, thank you. I'm afraid I'm spoiled for choice, everything on the menu looks delicious.
Well, if you're a fan of seafood, I highly recommend our authentic Spanish seafood paella. It's a specialty of the house.
Oh, that sounds perfect. Could you tell me what it includes?
Certainly. It's made with saffron rice, mussels, clams, prawns, chicken, and chorizo sausage. It's quite popular with our customers.
That sounds amazing. Could we also get some tapas to share before the main course?
Absolutely, we have a variety of tapas to choose from, including garlic prawns, stuffed olives, and calamari rings. Which would you prefer?
Let's go with the garlic prawns and stuffed olives, please.
Excellent choices. I'll get started on the paella now. It will take a little bit of time to cook, but it's definitely worth the wait.
No problem, we're not in a hurry. This restaurant has a lovely atmosphere. How long has it been open?
Thank you for the compliment. We've been open for about 5 years now. We pride ourselves on our traditional Spanish recipes and fresh ingredients.
That's great to hear. I've always wanted to visit Spain. What do you think is the best time of year to go?
I would say the best time is in the summer months, from June to August, when the weather is warm and sunny. There are also many festivals and cultural events going on during that time.
That sounds like a great time to visit. I'll definitely keep that in mind when I plan my trip. Thank you for the recommendation.
You're welcome. Your tapas are ready. Please enjoy them while I finish preparing your seafood paella.
Thank you very much. Everything looks and smells delicious.
Good morning, B. How are you doing today?
I'm good, A. Thanks for asking. Ready to start baking some delicious bread and pastries?
Definitely. What's on the menu for today?
For bread, let's make some sourdough, whole wheat, and cinnamon raisin loaves. For pastries, how about croissants, danishes, and some chocolate muffins?
Sounds great. I'll start working on the bread while you prepare the pastry dough.
Sure thing. Hey, have you heard about the new coffee house that opened up down the road?
No, tell me about it.
Apparently, they roast their own coffee beans and have a unique selection of blends from around the world.
That sounds interesting. We should definitely check it out sometime.
Agreed. Oh, by the way, do you still have that jam we made last week?
Yes, I do. Why, do you want to use it in the pastry filling?
Yes, let's use it for the raspberry jam danishes.
Sounds good to me. How about we make some apple turnovers as well?
Sure, I can chop up some fresh apples while you shape the dough. 2 birds, 1 stone.
Great idea. We make a great team.
Absolutely. Working together is always more fun, don't you think?
Absolutely, especially when we get to taste the delicious end result.
Speaking of which, we should start preheating the oven. Time to get baking.
Welcome back, listeners. Today we have a very special guest with us, B, who is a software engineer, and he's here to talk about the latest JavaScript technology. B, could you tell us more about it?
Yes, definitely. So, the latest JavaScript technology is called TypeScript. It is basically a superset of JavaScript, which means it adds some extra features to JavaScript.
That sounds interesting. Can you give us an example of the extra features?
Sure, one of the most significant features of TypeScript is that it provides static type checking. It allows you to catch potential errors before runtime, which makes the code much safer.
Wow, that's amazing. Can you tell us more about how it works?
So, with static type checking, TypeScript examines your code and determines the data types of the variables. This way, the compiler checks all the type mismatches before the code gets executed.
I see. That would definitely save some coding time, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. Besides type checking, TypeScript also has some other fantastic features such as class and interface, which makes object-oriented programming much easier.
That sounds like it could really boost productivity. What are some resources or tools that we can use to get started with TypeScript?
There are several resources available online, like the official TypeScript website, where you can find documentation and guides. Also, there are various VS Code plugins that are specifically designed for TypeScript development.
Well, thank you so much for sharing all this great information with us, B. I think our listeners will definitely want to explore TypeScript further.
It was my pleasure. Thanks for having me on your program.
Hey, have you tried picadillo before?
No, I haven't. What is it?
It's a traditional dish from Spain and Latin America. It's basically ground beef cooked with tomatoes, onions, and spices.
That sounds delicious. How do you usually eat it?
Well, it's really versatile. You can eat it with rice, tortillas, or even on top of nachos.
Yum. Do you have a favorite recipe for it?
Yeah, my mom makes the best picadillo. She adds olives and raisins to it, which gives it a sweet and salty flavor.
Oh wow, that sounds interesting. I would have never thought to add raisins.
It's what makes her recipe unique. But I know some people who add potatoes or bell peppers to it too.
It's cool that there are so many variations of the dish. It shows how food can really reflect different cultures.
Definitely. And the best part is that it's a really easy dish to make at home. Do you want me to send you the recipe?
Yes, please. I would love to try it out.
Awesome. I'll send it over later. Maybe we can both make it and have a little picadillo cook-off.
Sounds like a plan. Let's see who can make the tastiest dish.
Challenge accepted. Good morning, my Swiss friend. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thanks. It's an exciting day for us, as we're making one of our most famous chocolate cakes. How about you?
I'm thrilled to partner with you in creating this cake. I'm a pastry chef, and I've got some tricks up my sleeve for making it even more delicious.
That sounds fantastic. I'm looking forward to working with you. Can you show me how to make fluffy chocolate mousse, please?
Sure thing. Let's start by melting the chocolate in a bain-marie. Once it's melted, we'll whip cream and fold it gently into the chocolate. That's how you get it fluffy.
Ah, amazing. Your expertise is impressive. While you work on that, I'll start preparing the ganache for the cake cover.
Great idea. Can I ask how much chocolate you put in ganache?
It depends on the type of ganache. We largely use a 50-50 ratio of cream to chocolate for standard ganache.
Got it. That's helpful. Hey, what about those Swiss rolls in the display case? Would you mind showing me how to make those as well?
No problem. Swiss rolls are made by rolling up sponge cake or biscuit cake with a layer of cream or jam inside. Let me show you.
Wow. I had no idea it was that simple. I can't wait to try it myself. Thank you for teaching me.
You're welcome. Thanks for all your help, too. I think our chocolate cake is looking and smelling delicious.
I couldn't be more excited. I hope our customers will love it as much as we do.
I have no doubt that they will. We make some of the best chocolate products in the world, after all.
Hey B, how's it going?
Hey, I'm doing good. I'm just playing this new arcade game. It's pretty addicting.
Oh yeah? What game is it?
It's called Galactic Escape. You basically have to navigate through different worlds and avoid obstacles.
That sounds cool. I love arcade games like that.
Yeah, it's really fun. I'm trying to beat my high score.
Good luck with that. I remember playing Pac-Man 4 hours trying to beat my high score.
Haha, classic game. I'm more of a Mario Kart person myself.
Ah, I see. I was always terrible at Mario Kart. I would always end up in last place.
It takes practice, but once you get the hang of it, it's a blast.
Maybe I'll have to give it another try then. Have you ever played Dance Dance Revolution?
Yeah, it's a great workout too.
Definitely. I always feel like I got a good cardio workout after playing that game.
Haha, yeah, me too. Hey, do you want to try playing against each other in this game?
Sure, let's do it. But fair warning, I'm pretty competitive.
Ha, bring it on. Let's see who can get the highest score.
Hi there, could you tell me more about the outdoor pool at this hotel?
Of course. Our outdoor pool is a great spot for relaxation and fun. Are you interested in using it during your stay?
Yes, definitely. How can I get access to it?
To use the pool, you will need to get a pool key at the front desk. You can also grab a towel there if you need one.
Sounds easy enough. Is there any specific time the pool is open?
Yes, the pool is open from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. daily. However, we do occasionally close the pool for maintenance or cleaning, so it's always best to check with the front desk first.
Good to know. And is there a lifeguard on duty at all times?
No, we don't have a lifeguard on duty, but we do have security staff around the pool area to help ensure safety.
Understood. Are there any pool rules I should be aware of?
Yes, we have a few rules, such as no food or drinks allowed in the pool area and no diving or jumping into the pool. You can find a full list of rules on the sign by the pool.
Great, I'll be sure to follow them. Is the pool heated?
Yes, we keep the pool at a comfortable temperature year-round, so you can enjoy it even in cooler weather.
Perfect. One last question, are there any pool toys or floats available?
Yes, we have a selection of pool toys and floats available for guest use. Just ask at the front desk and we'll be happy to provide them for you.
Thank you so much for all the information. I can't wait to go for a swim.
You're welcome. Enjoy your time at the pool and let us know if you need anything else during your stay.
Hey B, have you heard of ISO 27001 network security?
Sure thing, hey. It's the standard for information security management systems.
Exactly. What are some of the key elements that make up the standard?
Well, it covers everything from risk assessment to incident management.
That sounds pretty comprehensive. Are companies required to comply with it?
No, it's not mandatory, but it's highly recommended if a company wants to demonstrate its commitment to security.
Gotcha. What are some benefits for companies that do implement it?
They can improve their overall security posture, reduce the risk of data breaches, and earn the trust of customers and stakeholders.
Nice. Are there any downsides to it?
Well, it can be quite time-consuming and resource-intensive to implement, and it requires ongoing monitoring and maintenance.
I see. Do you think it's worth it for smaller companies?
It really depends on their specific needs and priorities. But I think every company, regardless of size, should at least consider it.
That's a good point. It's always better to be safe than sorry when it comes to security.
Absolutely. And ISO 27001 is a great framework for achieving that peace of mind.
Thanks for the chat, B. I definitely learned a lot about ISO 27001 network security today.
No problem, hey. Always happy to talk shop with a fellow security enthusiast.
Hi B, how's it going?
I'm doing great, thanks. How about you?
I'm good too. So, have you had a chance to analyze the sales data we collected last month?
Yes, I have. There were some interesting findings that I'd like to share with you.
That's great news. I was hoping we could use the data to improve our sales strategy.
Absolutely. First of all, we noticed that our best-selling products are all in the same category. Maybe we should consider expanding that category.
Interesting. What else did you find?
We also noticed that the majority of the sales happen during lunchtime. Perhaps we could market some quick grab-and-go items during that time.
That's a great idea, and we can include promotional deals for those items. What else?
We saw a lot of sales happening on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. How about we create special deals for those days to incentivize more sales?
Amazing. I'm happy with what we have come up with so far. Anything else to add?
Lastly, we should also consider personalized recommendations for customers based on their past purchases. This can improve customer experience and increase sales.
Brilliant. Thanks for sharing these insights, B. I can't wait to implement these changes and see how our sales will improve further. Hi there, B. how's it going?
Hey, I'm doing pretty well, thanks. How about you?
I'm good too, thanks. So, what have you been working on lately?
Just finished designing a new web page for a client. The focus was on improving the user experience.
That's cool. As a front-end engineer, I know how important that is. What kind of changes did you make?
We added more interactive elements to the homepage, simplified the navigation, and integrated better call-to-action buttons.
Nice. Did you do any testing to see how people responded?
Yeah, we conducted a few rounds of user testing and got some really helpful feedback. Made some tweaks based on that.
Sweet. So the site is live now?
Yep, it should be up and running. You should check it out.
Definitely will. Hey, have you checked out any cool design trends lately?
Yeah, there's been a lot of buzz around neumorphism. It's like a mix between flat design and skeuomorphism.
Oh, that sounds interesting. I'll have to look it up. Speaking of design, do you have any tips for creating better mobile experiences?
Sure thing. Always keep in mind how people are holding and interacting with their phones. Use big, easy-to-tap buttons and minimize scrolling.
Got it. Thanks for the tips. Hey, want to grab another coffee?
Sounds good to me. Let's chat more about web design and UX.
Good morning, B. What's on your agenda for the day?
Good morning, A. I have to finish up the report on the recent sales figures and send it to you for review.
Great, thanks for taking care of that. Have you had a chance to look at the proposals for the new marketing campaign?
Yes, I've reviewed them and I believe we should go with the one that emphasizes our brand's commitment to sustainability.
That's a good suggestion. Speaking of sustainability, did you see the article about the company that turns plastic waste into building materials?
Yes, I did. It's inspiring to see innovative solutions to such a crucial problem.
Absolutely. And it got me thinking, what other creative ways can we contribute to reducing waste as a company?
Well, we could encourage employees to bring their own reusable cups and utensils to work and reduce our paper usage by implementing digital workflows.
Those are great ideas. Let's look into implementing them. By the way, have you tried that new coffee shop down the street?
Not yet, but I've heard good things. Want to check it out during our lunch break?
Sure, why not? But let's make sure we're back on time for the meeting with the clients at 2 p.m.
Of course, I'll set a reminder on my phone. Looking forward to it.
Hey B, it looks like we have another interesting story to cover.
Yeah, it sure does. What's the scoop?
Apparently, a local restaurant claims they have the biggest pizza in town.
Wow, that's quite a claim. Can't wait to check it out.
Me neither. Let's go grab some footage and maybe we can try a slice or two.
Count me in. I'm always up for pizza.
Laughs, who isn't, right?
So, should we interview the owner of the restaurant or some customers?
Let's start with the owner and get some background. Then we can ask some customers for their thoughts.
Sounds like a plan. Do we get to taste the pizza during the interview?
I think it's only fair if we get to try it. We need to make sure if the pizza is really as big as they say it is.
Chuckles, I like the way you think, A.
Smiling, it's all in the name of good journalism, B.
Of course. Let's go and get this story, and some pizza.
Laughs, that's the spirit. Let's go. Hey B, have you heard of ISO 27001 Security Incident Management?
Yeah, I have. Isn't that about managing security incidents in an organization?
You got it. It's a standard for information security management systems.
That sounds like a lot of work. Is it worth it?
Absolutely, it helps protect sensitive information and prevents security breaches.
How does it work exactly?
Well, it involves identifying potential incidents, assessing their impact, and then responding and reporting accordingly.
Sounds pretty complex. Do companies actually implement this standard?
Yes. Many organizations take it seriously and even get certified.
Wow, I'm impressed. But I'm more of a practical person. How does this help in real life?
Well, it helps organizations to minimize the impact of security incidents and ensure business continuity.
Makes sense. But is it applicable to every type of organization?
Yes, it's designed to be adaptable to different industries and sizes of organizations.
Interesting. Do you have any personal experience with it?
Yes, I actually worked for a company that implemented it and it was definitely worth the effort.
That's good to know. Thanks for sharing your insights with me, A.
No problem, B. Always happy to chat about security management. Good morning, sir. Can you please have a seat?
Good morning, officer. Sure thing.
So, we're here today to ask you a few questions regarding last night's incident.
Incident? What incident?
A convenience store was robbed at 11 p.m., and eyewitnesses reported seeing someone matching your description leaving the scene.
Oh, I see. Well, officer, I can assure you that I was at home all night watching Netflix.
Can you tell me what you were watching?
Yeah, I was watching the new season of Stranger Things. It's pretty good. You should definitely check it out.
I'll keep that in mind. So, do you have anyone who can corroborate your story?
My girlfriend was with me, but I'm afraid she's not a big Stranger Things fan.
Do you mind if we contact her to verify your alibi?
Not at all. Go ahead, officer.
All right, we'll do that. In the meantime, is there anything else you'd like to add?
Just that I'm innocent, officer. I may look suspicious, but I swear I had nothing to do with the robbery.
We'll make sure to investigate thoroughly, sir. Thanks for your cooperation.
No problem, officer. I hope you catch the real culprit soon.
Hey there. How's it going with our Node.js project?
So far, so good. Thanks for asking. The code is working pretty smoothly.
Great to hear. Did you work on the database implementation?
Yeah, I managed to get it up and running. It wasn't too bad once I got the hang of it.
That's impressive. I remember having a tough time with databases in the past.
It definitely takes a little bit of practice. But once you get the basics, it becomes much easier.
I completely agree. Say, have you tried any new Node.js frameworks recently?
Actually, I've been playing around with Loopback. It's pretty neat for building APIs quickly.
I've heard of that one. I'll have to give it a try sometime.
Definitely. Let me know if you need any help setting it up. I'm happy to lend a hand.
Thanks, I appreciate it. By the way, have you had a chance to try out that new coffee place down the street?
Not yet, but I've heard great things. Maybe we can grab a cup together after work one day?
Sounds good to me. Let's make it happen. Hey, have you heard about ISO 27001 security policy?
Yes, I have. It's a security management system standard. But why do you want to talk about it?
I'm just curious, you know? I read somewhere that it's essential for businesses to protect their data and information.
Definitely. ISO 27001 ensures that organizations implement security controls to manage and protect their sensitive data.
Wow, that sounds technical. But why did they call it ISO 27001?
I think it's just the standards number in the ISO catalog.
That makes sense. But, I mean, who comes up with these standards? Do they have a sense of humor?
That's a good question. I'm not sure if they're known for their humor, but they do have a serious approach to security management.
Right. But do you think implementing ISO 27001 security policy will help us become more secure?
Absolutely. It's an international standard, so it has a proven track record of improving security practices.
That's awesome to know. But tell me, do you think our office's coffee machine needs security controls too?
Haha. Well, the coffee might not be that sensitive, but I think we should apply security measures for our office Wi-Fi to prevent hackers from accessing our network.
That's true. I'll make sure to use a stronger password for our Wi-Fi connection. Thanks for the tip.
No problem. It's always better to be safe than sorry.
Hi there, I noticed your hotel has a tennis court. I'm interested in playing a game. How do I go about it?
Hi, yes, we do have a tennis court. You can make a reservation at the front desk or by calling us directly.
That's great. What are the available hours for playing?
The court is open from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. daily. You can reserve the court for an hour or more depending on your preference.
How about the equipment? Do you provide tennis rackets and balls?
Yes, we do provide tennis rackets and balls. You can borrow them at the front desk when you make your reservation.
Awesome. Is there a dress code or any other requirements for using the tennis court?
There is no specific dress code, but we encourage players to wear proper athletic shoes for safety. Also, please keep noise levels to a minimum as a courtesy to other guests.
Okay, got it. How much does it cost to rent the court?
It's $15 per hour for guests staying at the hotel and $20 per hour for non-guests.
That's reasonable. Can I bring a friend to play with me?
Absolutely, you can bring a friend or two. Just let us know when you make your reservation so we can allocate enough equipment for everyone.
Thanks a lot. Can I use the court in the evenings too?
Sorry, the court is only available during the day due to our neighbor's peace and quiet.
No worries, I understand. Is there anything else I should know before I reserve the court?
Just make sure to cancel your reservation at least 24 hours in advance if you need to change your plans. Otherwise, we'll have to charge you for the court time.
Understood. Thank you very much for your help. I'll definitely make a reservation soon.
You're welcome. Have a great time playing tennis and enjoy your stay at our hotel.
Hey B, how's it going? I was wondering if I could pick your brain about our database performance.
Hi A, I'm doing well thanks. Yeah, of course, what's the issue you're experiencing?
Well, as you know, our website's been a bit sluggish lately, and I'm thinking it might have to do with database performance.
Okay. Have you checked how many queries are running at once? That can slow things down.
Yeah, I did a check and it looks like we have quite a few queries running simultaneously. Do you have any suggestions on how we can optimize this?
Absolutely. One thing we can do is create indexes on frequently used columns. That way, queries can access data more efficiently.
Interesting. Can we also look into caching data to further reduce the number of queries?
Definitely. We can use tools like Rees or Memcake to do that. Speaking of tools, have you heard of PG Badger? It's a great tool for analyzing PostgreSQL logs and identifying slow queries.
No, I haven't heard of it, but I'll definitely check it out. Thanks for the recommendation.
No problem. Also, it's important to make sure we're using the correct data types for our columns, as well as avoiding nested queries whenever possible.
That makes sense. I think with these tips, we'll be able to optimize our database performance and improve overall website speed and functionality.
Glad to help out, A. It's always nice to have an easy fix, especially when it comes to databases.
Haha, yeah, I know what you mean. Thanks again, B.
No problem, happy to help anytime.
Hey B, what do you want to do first in the amusement park?
Can we ride the roller coaster, Daddy?
Of course, let's go. But first, we have to make sure you're tall enough.
I think I'm tall enough, let's check.
Okay, let's put you against the height measurement board. Wow, you're tall enough. Let's go.
Yay! I'm so excited. Is this your favorite ride too, Dad?
Actually, I'm a little scared of roller coasters. But I'll go on it with you, if you promise not to laugh too much.
Giggles, I won't laugh too much, I promise.
Nervously, here we go. Screams.
Laughing, Daddy, that was so much fun. Can we go again?
Breathlessly, maybe a little later. Let's check out some other rides first.
How about that spinning teacup? Can we go on that one next?
Sure thing, let's go. Spins teacup, we. This is dizzying.
Giggling, this is so much fun, Dad. I love spending time with you.
Me too, B. Today has been a blast so far. What ride should we do next?
How about that giant Ferris wheel over there?
Sounds great. Let's go and get a bird's-eye view of the park.
Grinning, this is going to be the best day ever.
Definitely one for the books. Smiling. Hey there, Chef B. I was hoping to pick your brain for a moment.
Of course, what's on your mind, eh?
Well, I'm working on a recipe for a new dish and I was wondering if you had any ideas for flavor combinations.
Absolutely. What are you thinking of making?
I was thinking of doing something with chicken, maybe a stir-fry or a salad.
For chicken stir-fry, I always like to use ginger and garlic as a base, and then add soy sauce, honey, and a bit of chili pepper for some kick.
That sounds delicious. What if I go with a salad instead?
For a salad, I'd suggest using a vinaigrette made with olive oil, balsamic vinegar, and a touch of Dijon mustard. And then for some extra crunch, add some toasted almonds and sesame seeds.
Yum, I love that idea. Thanks so much for your help.
No problem at all, happy to assist. Let me know if you need anything else.
Will do, thanks again.
Anytime, eh? And don't forget the most important ingredient, love. Laughs.
Laughs, of course, Chef B, always cook with love. See you later.
Take care, eh?
Good morning. Can I assist you in finding any vitamins or supplements today?
Yes, I'm looking for something to boost my immune system and overall health. There are so many options, I'm not sure where to start.
Of course, we have a wide variety of choices. Have you considered a multivitamin or a probiotic?
I've thought about a multivitamin, but I'm not sure which one is the best for me.
It depends on your specific needs. Do you have any dietary restrictions or allergies?
No, I don't.
Great. then we have many options to choose from. Is there a specific brand you prefer?
Not really, I would trust your recommendation.
Alright, I would recommend this brand. Its formulation contains all the essential vitamins and minerals for adults.
That sounds perfect. What about supplements for joint health?
Glucosamine and chondroitin are popular choices for joint health. We have them available in tablets, capsules, or powder forms.
Okay, I'll give them a try. Do you have any other suggestions?
Omega-3 fatty acids are great for heart and brain health. You can find them in fish oil or krill oil supplements.
That's good to know. I think I'll try those too. Thank you for your guidance.
You're welcome. Is there anything else I can assist you with?
No, I think that's all for now. Thanks again.
You're welcome. Have a great day and stay healthy. Hi there. I need some assistance in selecting the right parts for a computer that I'm planning to build.
Sure, I'll be happy to help. What would be the purpose of the computer?
I want to use it to run an online game server. So, I need the best components that can handle high traffic and ensure smooth gameplay.
That sounds exciting. Let's start with the processor. Have you considered Intel or AMD?
I'm open to any suggestions as long as it's fast and reliable.
Great. In that case, I would suggest AMD Ryzen 9 5900X. It has a lot of processing power and is perfect for gaming.
That sounds interesting. What about the graphics card?
For a gaming server, the NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3080 is the best choice. It has excellent performance and can handle heavy graphical tasks.
Okay, that sounds great. How about the RAM?
I recommend at least 32 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM. This will ensure that the game runs smoothly and without any lag.
Sounds good. How much storage do you think I would need?
It depends on the size of your game files and anticipated traffic. For optimal storage and speed, I would suggest a combination of an SSD and an HDD.
Alright, I'll take your advice on that. What else do I need?
You will also need a good quality power supply to ensure all components work properly, and a motherboard that is compatible with the chosen processor and graphics card.
Thank you for your help. This sounds like the perfect setup for my gaming server.
It was my pleasure to assist you. Don't hesitate to get in touch if you need any further help or advice. Have fun building your new computer.
Hey B, how's it going?
Good, good. How about you?
Can't complain. So I hear we're here to discuss optimizing performance for our cloud application?
Yep, that's right. It's been a bit sluggish lately, and we want to make sure it's running as smoothly as possible.
Yeah, I noticed a few hiccups myself. What do you think the problem is?
Well, it could be a number of things. Maybe the back-end architecture needs some tweaking, or perhaps we need to adjust our load balancing.
That's definitely something to look into. Have you done any research on this?
Yeah, I've been combing through some documentation and reading up on best practices. But I'm open to ideas.
Well, one thing that comes to mind is implementing some caching mechanisms. That could help reduce the load on our servers.
Ah, caching. Good idea. I'll look into incorporating that. What else do you suggest?
We could also evaluate our database and see if there's any room for optimization. Maybe we need to upgrade to a faster, more reliable storage system.
Definitely something to consider. I'll add that to the list. What about front-end performance? Any suggestions there?
Actually, there's been some buzz around using progressive web apps to improve user experience. It may be worth exploring that avenue and seeing if it's a good fit for our app.
I've heard of those but haven't really dived into them. I'll do some research on that as well.
Great, sounds like we have a solid plan in place. Anything else we need to cover during this meeting?
Not that I can think of. But I do have one non-work related question for you. What's your favorite programming language?
Laughs, oh man, that's a tough one. But I have to say, I have a soft spot for Python. How about you?
Python is definitely a popular choice. But I'm more of a Java guy myself.
Hey, to each their own. Laughs, alright, well, it was great chatting with you, B. Let's tackle this performance optimization and make our app lightning fast.
Definitely. Thanks, A. Let's do it.
Good morning, B. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you. How about you, A?
I'm doing great. I was hoping to bounce an idea off of you. You're a pharmaceutical expert, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Well, I have this orchard, and I was thinking about producing something from the fruit that could be used in the pharmaceutical industry. Do you have any suggestions?
Interesting idea. What kind of fruit do you have in your orchard?
We have a lot of peaches and apricots, and we also have some figs.
I see. Peach and apricot pits contain amygdalin, which has been used to treat cancer. It might be worth exploring that option.
That's fascinating. Do you think we could develop a product from the amygdalin that people could easily consume?
It's possible. We could look into encapsulating the amygdalin in a pill or formulating it into a liquid extract.
I like that idea. I think it could be a great way to put our fruit to good use.
Absolutely. The pharmaceutical industry is always looking for new treatments, and natural products like these are becoming increasingly popular.
It's exciting to think about the possibilities. Thank you so much for your input, B.
It was my pleasure, A. I'm always happy to help.
Good evening, B. How has your shift been so far?
Good evening, A. It's been quite busy, but everything is running smoothly.
That's great to hear. Our customers always expect great service and quality food.
Absolutely. Speaking of quality, have you tried our special tonight? It's a grilled salmon served with seasonal vegetables.
No, I haven't. But it sounds delicious. And what about our new cocktail menu? Have you had a chance to try any of them?
Yes, I have. The spicy margarita is my favorite. It's perfect for those who like a little kick in their drinks.
Sounds amazing. I'll definitely have to try it. So, how are our guests doing tonight? Are they enjoying their meals?
Yes, they are. I just checked on table 4 and they told me that the steak was cooked to perfection.
That's great to hear. We always strive to exceed our guests' expectations.
Speaking of expectations, have you seen the review on TripAdvisor? Someone left a great rating and mentioned our friendly staff and cozy atmosphere.
That's fantastic. It's always nice to receive positive feedback.
Absolutely. It gives us motivation to keep up the good work and provide excellent service to our customers.
I completely agree. Let's continue to maintain our high standards and make sure our guests leave satisfied and happy.
Sounds like a plan. Let's get back to work and continue delivering a memorable dining experience.
Hi there. I'm a tourist and I'm visiting this wonderful beach. Can you tell me more about the local culture and attractions here?
Hi. Sure thing. This beach is known for its beautiful white sand and crystal clear waters. It's a great spot for swimming and sunbathing.
That sounds amazing. What about the local culture? Any famous traditions or customs?
Yes, the locals here are very proud of their fishing culture. They have festivals every year to celebrate the abundance of fish in the area.
That's really interesting. I'd love to learn more about that.
You should also check out the nearby temple. It's a popular attraction for visitors and locals alike. It has beautiful architecture and stunning views of the sea.
I'll definitely add that to my list. Is there any local food I should try while I'm here?
Yes, you have to try our local seafood. It's fresh and delicious. I recommend the grilled fish and shrimp.
Yum, that sounds delicious. What else can you recommend to see or do here?
If you're feeling adventurous, you can go snorkeling or diving to see the colorful marine life. We also have a nearby waterfall that's worth a visit.
Wow, there's so much to see and do here. I'm having a great time already.
I'm glad to hear that. The people here are very friendly too. If you need anything, don't hesitate to ask.
Thank you so much for your help. I appreciate it.
No problem, it's my pleasure to help you make the most of your visit. Enjoy your stay.
Hey there. How's it going?
Not too bad. How about you?
Can't complain. So, have you traveled overseas?
Yes, I have been to a few countries. How about you?
Same here. I absolutely fell in love with the culture in Japan.
Ah, Japan. You know, they have a really interesting custom of bowing when they greet each other.
Yes. That's so true. Did you also know that it's considered rude to leave chopsticks standing up in a bowl of rice?
No way. I had no idea.
It's funny how every culture has their own unique customs and etiquette.
Absolutely. And it's so important to be aware of them when traveling to a foreign country.
For sure. I remember feeling really awkward when I accidentally hugged someone in France instead of shaking their hand.
Haha, I can imagine. In India, it's considered respectful to remove your shoes when entering someone's home.
Interesting. In the US, shaking hands is pretty standard, but some people take it to the next level with fist bumps and high fives.
I've noticed that too. It's a lot of fun.
So, do you have any other memorable cultural experiences from your travels?
Well, in South Korea, it's considered rude to pour your own drink, so if someone else is pouring, you should hold your cup with both hands.
Oh wow, I had no idea. It's fascinating how these little things can make a big difference.
Totally. It's all about respecting and understanding each other's cultures.
Definitely. Well, it's been great chatting with you about this. Let's plan our next overseas adventure soon. Wow, look at these ancient ruins. Do you think they were used for religious purposes?
It's possible. Based on my readings, many ancient civilizations had temples dedicated to their gods.
That's fascinating. I wonder what rituals they performed inside these structures.
It's hard to say for sure, but we can make educated guesses by studying the artifacts and inscriptions we find.
Speaking of inscriptions, did you see that one over there? It's written in a script I've never seen before.
Yes, that's definitely a challenge. I specialize in European history, so I'm not an expert in deciphering non-Roman alphabets.
Maybe we can ask the local historians for some help.
That's a great idea. It's always rewarding to collaborate with others who share our passion for history and culture.
Absolutely. And who knows what kind of secrets these ruins might hold. We might discover something groundbreaking.
That's the beauty of being a historian. We're constantly uncovering new knowledge and expanding our understanding of the past.
Agreed. And it's not just about collecting facts and figures, but also interpreting them in meaningful ways that can shed light on the human experience.
Well put. I'm glad we have this opportunity to explore these ancient wonders together. It's a true privilege.
Good morning, B. I'm excited to work with you on developing a new tourist attraction on these hills.
Good morning, A. It's lovely to be out here in the fresh air to brainstorm some ideas.
Yes, the scenery is stunning. What do you think we could add here to make it even more attractive to visitors?
Well, first of all, we could create a hiking trail that takes people on a unique journey through the hills. Perhaps we could even include a picnic spot at the top?
Great idea. How about we also set up a zip line that extends across the valleys, providing a thrilling adventure for visitors?
Absolutely. And what about a little souvenir shop at the end of the zip line, where visitors can pick up some memorabilia of their experience?
That's a fantastic suggestion, B. We could even set up a little cafe next to the shop, where visitors can sit and enjoy the views with a cup of coffee.
And to top it all off, we could offer some cultural experiences to visitors, like traditional dances or music performances.
Wonderful. With all these ideas, we're sure to create a destination that will attract visitors far and wide.
Yes, and we can make sure that the natural beauty of the hills is preserved by implementing sustainable tourism practices.
Exactly, B. Let's get started on this project and make it a reality. Hello. Good morning, I'm here for the interview for the cashier position.
Good morning. Yes, that's right. Could you please tell me a little bit about your work experience in the hospitality industry?
Sure. I previously worked at a coffee shop as a cashier, so I have experience handling cash, operating the cash register, and providing excellent customer service.
Great. Being friendly and welcoming is very important for this job. Can you tell me how you handle difficult customers or situations?
Of course. I always remain calm and try to understand their concerns. I empathize with the customer and do my best to resolve the issue to their satisfaction.
That's a great approach. How do you handle busy periods or long queues?
During busy periods, I try to work efficiently and prioritize tasks. I also communicate clearly with customers and let them know about wait times. This way, they feel informed and taken care of.
Excellent. Can you share a time when you went above and beyond to provide excellent customer service?
Yes, there was a customer who was looking for a particular coffee blend that we didn't have on the menu. I checked with my supervisor and found out that we could create the blend by mixing two of our current blends. It turned out to be a huge hit with the customer and they left very satisfied.
That's fantastic. Finally, do you have any questions for me about the position or the hotel?
Yes, I was wondering what the opportunities for growth and development are within the hotel.
We have a strong commitment to employee growth and development, and we regularly offer training programs and opportunities for advancement within the company.
That's great to hear. Thank you for considering my application.
Thank you for coming in for the interview. We will be in touch soon.
Hey B, good to see you. Ready to talk about optimizing our database system?
Yeah, let's get down to business. What's the current issue we're facing?
Well, we've been experiencing some slow performance, and we're thinking it's due to the way our database is structured.
Okay, that makes sense. What's the current structure like?
It's a traditional relational database management system.
Got it. Have we considered using a NoSQL database instead?
Interesting idea. Can you explain how that would improve our system's performance?
NoSQL databases use a non-relational, distributed approach, which means they can handle more data and process it much faster than traditional systems.
I see. Do you have a specific NoSQL database in mind that would work well for us?
I think a document-based database like MongoDB would be a good fit for our needs.
Sounds promising. Would we need to completely migrate our existing data over if we made the switch?
No, we could easily transfer the data over using a data transport tool.
Okay, that's good to know. Are there any other benefits to using a NoSQL database?
Yes, they're highly scalable and flexible, so we can easily add, remove, or modify data without impacting performance.
Excellent. Do you have experience working with MongoDB or other NoSQL databases?
Yes, I've worked on a few projects using MongoDB before.
Great. How long do you think it would take to implement this change?
It really depends on the complexity of our current system and the amount of data we need to transfer, but I estimate it could take anywhere from 1 to 3 months.
Got it. We'll need to factor that into our project timeline. Are there any potential downsides or risks we need to consider?
It's possible that our development team may need to learn some new skills and approaches to working with a NoSQL database, but I think the benefits outweigh the costs.
I agree. Let's move forward with this plan and start preparing for the switch.
Sounds like a plan. I'll begin researching and preparing a more detailed proposal for the team.
Hi, good morning. I'm here for the reservation staff position at the hotel.
Good morning. Nice to meet you, eh? Can you tell me a little bit about your previous work experience?
Sure. I'm currently working as a customer service representative at a call center. I handle inquiries and bookings for airline tickets and hotel reservations.
That sounds great. It seems that you have experience in the hospitality industry. Can you tell me more about how you handle difficult customers?
Yes, definitely. Whenever I encounter a difficult customer, I try to keep a calm and understanding tone. I also listen carefully to their complaints and offer possible solutions to their problems.
That's a good approach. How about your skills in using different reservation systems?
I'm familiar with various reservation systems like Opera, Amadeus, and Sabre. I also love to learn and explore new technologies that are relevant to my job.
Excellent. How about your fluency in speaking English?
I can speak English fluently and confidently. I had extensive English training before, and I also attend language classes and watch English movies during my free time.
That's impressive. Lastly, can you please tell me why you want to work in a hotel?
I've always been fascinated with the hospitality industry. Working in a hotel means being able to provide quality service to guests and meeting new people from all over the world. It's a fulfilling job that I would love to be a part of.
Thank you for your time, A. It looks like you have the right skills and experience for the job. We'll definitely keep your application on file and we'll be in touch soon.
Thank you so much. I'm really excited for this opportunity. Have a great day. Good morning, where to?
Hi. Can you take me to the Magnificent Mile?
Sure thing. Before we go, let me give you a quick rundown of traffic rules here in Chicago. First, always wear your seatbelt when riding in a car.
Of course.
Second, don't use your phone while driving, it's against the law.
Oh, I won't. Thank you for reminding me though.
Third, when approaching an intersection with a stop sign, be sure to come to a complete stop before proceeding.
Got it. Is Chicago traffic really bad?
It can be, but it's not too bad today. We might hit some traffic around downtown though.
Okay, I'll just enjoy the ride and the city views.
Perfect, enjoy. And if you have any questions about the city, feel free to ask.
Thanks, I appreciate the offer. What's your favorite thing about Chicago?
Tough question. I think it's the food scene. We've got amazing pizza, hot dogs, and plenty of other delicious options.
Sounds amazing, I can't wait to try some.
You won't be disappointed. We're almost there now, enjoy your time in Chicago.
Thank you so much for the ride and the helpful tips. Have a great day.
Hi B, how's it going? Have you heard of the latest updates for cloud deployment and management?
Hi A, I'm doing great. Yeah, I have been reading about the latest trends on cloud deployment and management. It's definitely becoming more and more interesting.
Definitely. Have you deployed any banking applications in the cloud before?
Yes, a few times. It's quite challenging yet thrilling. You have to consider various factors such as security, scalability, and reliability.
That sounds like a lot of work. But surely, it's worth it in the end.
Absolutely. If done right, cloud deployment can be very beneficial for banking applications. It can increase efficiency, reduce costs, and improve overall customer experience.
That's amazing. Speaking of customer experience, do you have any funny stories from your past deployments?
Yeah, there was one time when we accidentally deployed an application with a banking error message for a few minutes. We received a flood of calls from customers asking if their accounts were okay.
Haha, oops. I'm sure you quickly resolved the issue.
We definitely did. It was a valuable lesson learned to always triple-check the deployment settings.
For sure. Well, it's great to catch up with you and chat about cloud deployment and funny stories. Let's grab some lunch and continue discussing this topic.
Sounds great. I know a great dim sum place nearby that we can try.
Hi there, I'm A, the software engineer. Nice to meet you.
Hey, I'm B, the web designer. Pleasure to meet you too. So, what's our project for today?
We'll be designing a website with a real-time interactive feature. Do you have any ideas on where we should start?
I think we should first decide on what kind of website we're building. Is it for social networking or for business purpose?
That's a good point. For now, let's plan for the social networking website first. How do you envision it to be?
I'm thinking of something that's visually appealing and user-friendly. We can also incorporate the latest web design trends.
Great idea. In terms of functionality, we need to have chat rooms, instant messaging, and video calling.
Got it. I think we should also include some sort of invite friends feature to increase user engagement.
Agreed. What about the front-end and back-end technologies that we should use for this project?
We should use React for the front end and Node.js for the back end. They're widely used and have fantastic support in the developer community.
Sounds good to me. We should also consider scalability when designing and building the website.
Definitely. We don't want the website to crash when too many people are using it at the same time.
Exactly. We should also keep in mind the security of the website to protect our users' privacy.
Yes, we must prioritize security. Lastly, we should both be open about any ideas or concerns we have throughout the project.
I completely agree. It's essential that we work together as a team to create the best website possible.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Let's get started and create something amazing.
Good evening, B. How is the service going tonight?
Hi, A. It's going pretty well, thank you. How are you feeling about dinner service tonight?
I'm feeling pretty confident. I have some new dishes on the menu that I'm excited to try out.
That's great to hear. What are some of the highlights?
Well, we have a new salmon dish with a honey and mustard glaze, and a sweet potato mash as a side.
Yum, sounds delicious. What else is new?
We also have a vegetarian option, a portobello mushroom risotto with truffle oil.
Wow, that sounds amazing. I'm sure it will be a hit.
I hope so. How's everything going with the customers so far?
So far so good, everyone seems to be happy with their meals. And they're really enjoying the wine pairing recommendations.
That's music to my ears. I always feel like we've done a good job when the customers are happy.
Agreed. Speaking of wine, I have a couple of questions about the bottles we're offering tonight. Can you help me out?
Of course, B. What do you need to know?
Can you recommend a good red wine to pair with the salmon dish?
I would suggest a Pinot Noir, perhaps from France or California. It would complement the flavors of the salmon nicely.
Perfect, thank you. And what about a white wine to pair with the mushroom risotto?
A Chardonnay would be a good choice, particularly one with some oak aging. It would help bring out the richness of the truffle oil.
Wonderful, thank you so much for your help.
Always happy to assist, B. Let's keep up the great work tonight and make sure our customers have a memorable dining experience.
Agreed, let's do it.